Breaking news, baby dolls. PulseX has flipped green on the weekly super trend. PLSX, we have it right here. Do you see this green arrow? It's flipped green. Now, the last time we flipped green on the weekly super trend, it went on to rally 3.2x. As you can see right here. So it flipped green and then it did 3.2x. It hit day one sack. So now here we are. Of course, we need to finish the week at this price or higher, around 0.33 of day one sack. You can see this right here. So obviously the super trend, friends, doesn't account time. It's just giving you a band. And if the market closes a certain distance, high or low of the band, it flips it and says, oh, wow, you've moved significantly. Now, the weekly super trend, the weekly time frame is quite fascinating because it's pretty hard to fake out. That's why it's nice. That's why it's fascinating, friends. Okay, why we don't use it on a daily? Because there's a lot of fake outs, even on a daily chart, on even lower than that. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen? Boy, oh boy, it's going to be great if this PulseX price chart. I'm going to show you the PulseX to pulse ratio. This is following Hex, friends, pretty much. Look at this. It's now at 0.60. This is really, really good to see. You see this walking up of it? This is PulseX. Hopefully the PulseX, the Hex, all of them start to basically just accommodate to each other. Really, you shouldn't be betting on just one. You should have exposure to all of them, just in case maybe a god hand out there tries to pump the crap out of one of them. This is the Hex price chart, as I mentioned before, friends. It's up at 1.6 cents as well. This is P-Hex, and it would be nice if this thing just keeps pumping right into the Richard Hart court case. That'd be nice. Look at this daily. That'd be really, really, really good. Imagine it just goes pop up here. That'd be nice, okay? Pulse chain launch price for P-Hex is 5 cents. So these things are still super cheap. And I've noticed a lot of people are in disbelief. Really, truly they are. Once again, here is the PulseX price chart. So it's going to take some weeks, right? It took like, you look from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like the next 2 months after we flipped green on the weekly super trend, it did a 3.2x. Then, unfortunately, it came back down. So, of course, it can always come back down. But that'd be nice, man, if the whole ecosystem does around a 2 or a 3x from here. And remember, we haven't even started the mania phase yet. And also, you got to think about PulseX itself, friends. I mean, I have the price charts here. PulseX, friends, now it's bought and burned 5.03% of user supply. A lot of people, like you have Brandon and other people out here calling for, they want single-side staking for PulseX. Look, man, I know the prices are poop now and they're still cheap, but you don't need single-side staking for these. You don't. It has the best tokenomics in crypto, pretty much. You are owning the casino. It has a hyper buy and burn. That's right, hyper. It is chewing up all the orders. It has utility. So when everyone's speculating and gambling and trading around, and it will all be enhanced when you see more trading and activity on centralized exchanges out here. Also, friends, I want to throw this special mention out to Icosa, okay? So Icosa is slingshot leverage on Hex. And some people, you got to understand this, what happens over time. So people ask me all the time, why is Icosa, why does it get more valuable as Hex price goes up? Like, because it seems like so dead right now, right? But it's actually starting to move up, okay? Why don't we even have like a 50x or 100x target? Well, I'll explain this to you, okay? So the Hedron and Icosa system, friends, when you make a Hex stake, you can go through the Hedron website and it will make you an NFT of the stake. So you can stake through there. And of course, it's super safe. And when you make the stake, it gives you the NFT of it. And then you can buy or sell on an auction that NFT. So you can actually list it up for auction and people can pay for your NFT. Now, you can also transfer the NFT along wallet. So that NFT is your stake. Now, why is this useful? It's because there's two big reasons, right? Okay, so over time, Hex gives less yield. Just like how Bitcoin mining gives less from the Bitcoin halving, Hex gives less yield over time. Okay, so Hex is mathematically programmed to give less yield over time. And the daily T-share rate ratchets up every single day. Okay, so as Hex's yield goes down, people need to stake longer. So Richard's vision is, one day you've got people like making a living off Hex. Maybe Hex is $1 one day, and there's people out here, maybe they're making like $30,000 a year from the Hex staking. But as the yield goes down and down, maybe their $30,000 the year after becomes $27,000. So what those people will have to start doing is they can't do, say, 30-day stakes. They might start doing like 60-day stakes, okay? Or they'll stake longer and longer and longer just to get the yield, okay? Or they have to buy more. You see, so that's part of his game theory. So you either buy more or you stake longer. In both cases, they help pump the price. Now, thinking about this, they are staking longer because they have to, right? Also, there's another effect here. They need to stake more often, all right? Why? Because the price growth of HEX in the future, if it continues to succeed, the price growth appreciation will be diminished over time. So you need to rely on the yield more. Okay, so in a nutshell, right? So if HEX right now, HEX is what, like 1.5 cents? You still can see, oh wow, it goes to $1.50 one day. That's 100x. So you don't really care about the yield. Now, a lot of people do care about the yield, and yeah, it does matter because every percent you gain is worth a lot. You should care about the yield, but I'm talking about the crowd. The crowd here truly doesn't care too much about the staking and stuff. A lot of people are still sitting on it, and they're not really worried about that staking part out here. But if HEX is, if we think about the future now, and one day in the future, HEX is up at $1, okay? You're not thinking about HEX going to 100 anymore. You're probably thinking about HEX going to $10, okay? So suddenly, you're not thinking about the 100x anymore. You're thinking about a 10x, okay? So, and even for Bitcoin, it's even less. Bitcoin, it's at 60K. They're not thinking about a 600K Bitcoin straight away, okay? They're thinking about like, oh, maybe 150K, okay? So the yield you gain on HEX, right, as a percentage of its upside, the yield represents more importance to your gains if the price is $1. Because you're like, well, I'm not going to get 100x out of it, so I need to grab every single yield, okay? Because I have to make up for it, right? But right now, that's why people don't care about it, because like, oh, I might make 100x anyway, okay? So as that staking gets more and more popular, people will demand it more. And because they need to stake more, you have more activity in the Hedron and Icosa stakes and that platform. Now, staking through Hedron, why is it safe? It's safer. Why? Because when you do a HEX stake, right, you got to think about this scenario. Imagine you commit to a 5-year HEX stake or 10 years. If you do it through the platform with Hedron available and you don't use Hedron, you are basically shooting yourself in the foot. Why? Imagine in a few years from now, someone walks into your house and they see your keys. And you don't know if they're going to steal money from you or not. Or what if someone gets unauthorized access, a Trojan access to your computer, and you're really scared they might see your keys compromised? What you can do is if you have a Hedron stake, you can move your stake to another wallet. You can move your stake to another wallet. If you move a stake to another wallet, they can't hack you anymore. You can transfer it out. Whereas you'd have to take that risk that they won't find your emergency end stake button and actually take your money from you, okay? So you basically protect yourself. It's like giving you a shield, like just in case, right? Because right now, if you have a long-term HEX stake, your only option is to emergency end it because someone else is going to take it off you. Whereas if you have the Hedron, you can just move the NFT out, okay? So in a nutshell, right, it really expands the ecosystem like that. Right, so there you go. So, and also think about this. If Bitcoin had staking, wouldn't everyone do it? That would be super popular and reliable, okay? So when Bitcoin was $100, no one really thought about this stuff because, you know, oh, wow, maybe it goes to $1 million one day. Now, there's a lot more people in it, and the yield matters a lot more. It really does matter a lot more. So that's why Hedron, in a nutshell, goes up, okay? It goes up over time in terms of its activity. But right now, no one believes in it. Right, obviously we do, but because you need HEX to survive as well. It's leverage on HEX succeeding out here. It's almost like you're taking a bet on Bitcoin mining companies, okay? So if Bitcoin goes down, Bitcoin mining companies, you're dead, okay? But if Bitcoin goes up, suddenly MicroStrategy is worth more, or you're betting on Bitcoin mining companies and Bitcoin derivatives, okay? So that's eventually what happens. And they're much thinner and smaller in liquidity than buying the spear itself. So there you go in a nutshell, friends. What do you think about the rest of the ecosystem? PulseX flipping green on the super trend. Let's hope it's the start of something good. Catch you soon.